Hello, hey everyone. Welcome to the Kubeflow community distribution meeting. Today is June 15th. This meeting is being recorded and governed by CNCF Code of Conduct. First, we start with the introduction. Do you have any new joiners that would like to present? Feel free to unmute and present yourself.
Hello, my name is Arthur. I just found about this group last week on the Python meetup in Dublin, in Ireland. One of the key presenters, Dominic, don't know if he's in the call. He mentioned about this in terms of group, and so I decided to be involved and maybe at this point be a shadow. And that's me. Hello, everybody.
Great. Welcome, Arthur. Thank you for joining. Okay, I think that's all. So, yeah, in today's meeting, we will present the highlights for the 2603 releases. So we'll go through the slides and switch now. Okay. Is the screen for the slides visible?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so the agenda for today, it will be mainly going through the some highlights from the updates, where also the working groups will present like the highlights in each component. So let's get started. So first of all, the Qflow release team meeting is held bi-weekly. This is the release team for 2603. So I'd like to thank everyone that participated and helped in making this release. And one important update in this release is that we switched to calendar versioning. So earlier Qflow releases was semantic version. We switched to calendar version so that we have or we aim for having two main releases per year, so that we have a more predictable release cadence for the Qflow AI reference platform, and also to minimize the overhead for the liaisons or the release team. So we also introduce an type of asynchronous communication as well, instead of the bi-weekly cadence. So this helps us to be able to do like fast iteration and have the Qflow manifest, where as we go through it, the community distribution as clear as possible and as predictable as possible as well. These are the versions that are included in the 2603. The main updates and so on, we will go through it. We have also had published just today the 2603.1 with some additional things that happened to the components that we will also go through both releases. And by this, I maybe hand over to Julius to go through the main highlights for 2603 and 26031. Over to you,
Yes,
Julius.
from the user perspective, the compatibility with PS, or maybe from the administrator perspective or security officer at your company, Kubeflow Pipelines version 2 and version 1 with PSS restricted. That is quite useful in enterprise environments. Yeah, then as said before, the versions Kubernetes updates, as well as all the main applications, as you've seen in the slides before. But we also extended our monitoring. That is also quite helpful for users, because we include almost all kinds of deploying Kserve, maybe excluding Kubernetes Ingress or Gateway API. But we show the authentication and authorization from inside the cluster, outside the cluster in multiple ways. And this has been requested quite often by customers or by users. And yeah, this is now tested on every merge to master. We also spend more time optimizing the CI/CD. And now for the step-by-step installation instructions, we use the same scripts that are used in the CI/CD. So we should notice immediately in the CI if the installation instructions for the customers or for the users breaks. That's also quite helpful to always make sure everything is automated and we don't have to worry about broken installation instructions. Then yes, also the other dependencies, Knative, Cert Manager, everything, it's all up to date, including the latest CVE fixes. And also something regarding network policies. I think they ended up in the wrong namespace. Now they should be in the right one. And maybe let's continue on the next slide. Okay. Then with the 2603.1 patch release, we went further. Now we are at Kubernetes 1.36 to make sure that all the current stable Kubernetes releases, I think it's 1.33 to 1.36 are supported. Of course, we went again with the latest KFP release, Spark Operator, Kserve, Trainer, and we also integrated model registry and catalog. Probably most interesting is for cluster administrators is Kubeflow dashboard version 2, because there are some breaking changes that you need to be aware of. All of that is covered in our new or improved upgrading and extending section in the README. And Kubeflow Notebook version 1 is more or less a drop-in replacement, just rebuild with updated images for CVE fixes. Yeah, of course, we have again all the dependencies, Knative, OAuth2 proxy, and so on. But more interestingly, there's also Istio 131. In general, it's just a dependency update, but this one here is interesting because from this release on, it should support host users false. Maybe you know it. As it's a security feature that helps, especially if you use PSS baseline for your customer namespaces, plus host users false on all ports, then this isolates really and makes sure that running as root in the container does not mean running as root on the host if you are able to escalate to the host via some zero-day vulnerability or so. So this is also quite interesting, and maybe we want to enable this by default in the future, at least in our CI/CD. Yeah. And as said before, we restructured our upgrading and extending section with all this information. So I just tested it. It works. You can really go directly from 1.11 to 26.03 and 26.03.1. It's somewhat seamless. Yeah, and I'm quite happy with the release.
Perfect. Great. Thanks so much, Julius. Then we go over to Trainer 2.2. So do we have maybe Addison or? Okay. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I'll cover that parts maybe. Or someone would like to cover Kubeflow SDK and the Trainer 2.2? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, the main features or the highlights for the Trainer 2.2 is mainly the XGB boost and JAX runtimes. So these are like an additional runtimes that have been added, and the Flux runtime also for MPI and HPC workloads. There are some breaking changes as mentioned here as well. You can of course reach out also to the Trainer working group for more details. They are available in CNCF Slack channel, so feel free to reach out there. And we go next. So the Kubeflow dashboard and notebooks of Christian.
Sure. So as already mentioned by Julius a little bit earlier on, this release of dashboard especially comes with a few breaking changes. And those are noted in both the release notes for Kubeflow dashboard and also in the upgrade notes for the community distribution. This release is the first release out of the new repositories in Kubeflow/dashboard and Kubeflow/notebooks, where early on they were in a mono repository Kubeflow, which was now migrated away from, and those are the first ones being released from that. We did a lot of maintenance work, especially around the notebook images, which was also mentioned, and a few important security fixes, both in the image dependencies, but also the applications themselves. And of course, there's always more to come in that front, but this release especially has a few gnarly ones, so please upgrade to the latest versions. Another interesting thing maybe is that the Notebooks V1 project is projected at least to become EOL at the end of the year. And right now, it is treated to be in maintenance mode, or that we only accept bug fixes for the code base, because there is a newer version of notebooks being worked on, and that is mentioned on the next slide. Yeah, so this release of the Kubeflow community distribution also includes a sneak peek into what the future of notebooks will look like. There is a collection of manifests that install Kubeflow Notebooks 2.0 Alpha 3 as part of the manifests, but I mean, obviously it's an alpha release. It is not suitable for production use or production clusters, and it's also not available by default in the manifests. But if you want to check it out, these slides have a link to the appropriate section in the example customization. Overall, the project is in full swing and in a great path towards general availability at the end of the year, and that's also why we're pausing or winding down the support for Notebooks V1. And if you're interested in contributing to the project, it's quite easy to get started. See the link there. And there are a few notable features. I won't go over anything here, but if any of those interests you, feel free to join one of the Notebooks working group meetings and help to develop that project so that one of the upcoming releases can include it in general availability.
Maybe just one small note, it's now officially renamed. So we now officially Kubeflow Community Distribution. It's voted on by the KSC, and the repository is also renamed.
Ah, yes, good point.
Great. Thank you much, Christian. Khatib, do you have someone like to cover? I think Khatib will, it's still on the same version 0.19, so not much updated. So we all go over to Kubeflow pipelines.
Yep. Sure. Hi, everyone. The following features have been added as part of the KFP 2.16 and 2.16.1 releases. Starting off, we have fully removed the min.io deployment component in this release. In our previous release 2.15, we added support for seaweed.fs S3 storage. Now, as part of our min.io removal, we've replaced all min.io client code with AWS SDK v2. In addition, 2.16 adds support for same namespace access to seaweed.fs in standalone deployments. Continuing on, Pipelines now provides native OpenID Connect authentication support for OIDC-enabled clusters that are running KFP. For pipelines running on your local machine through the local runner rather than a cluster, we've added support for 2 control flows, DSL condition, a conditional expression evaluator, and DSL parallel 4, supporting parallel task execution can now both be run on your local machine. And finally, we've increased capacity limits, both for pipeline input size limit, doubling from 10 kilobytes to 20 kilobytes, and for the MLMD gRPC message size limit, increasing from 4 megabytes to 100. And that's it from the pipeline side.
Great. Thank you so much, Laitham. Okay, we go to Kserve. I think maybe Raj would like to present Kserve updates.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, we are here.
Yeah. So for this time we are aiming for standardized GenAI interfaces, introducing LLM inference services, as you confirmed yesterday. Multi-node LLMs workloads and production grade LLM autoscaling also has been introduced, which we are fetching from Kserve. Apart from that, as discussed in earlier slide for Kserve, we have to implement testing for integrated authentication and authorization for Kserve as well, along with Kubeflow.
Great. Also worth mentioning that like the Kserve now is a standalone project as well. We sync that into the community distribution, but then it's the standalone project we in an upstream.
Yes, it is being it has now its own upstream, and yeah, they might also plan soon for maybe graduation. Not sure.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Raj. We move next. Model registry or hub.
I'll take this one. So lots of fun things going on over at Model Registry. The first and probably the biggest is that we have underwent a rebrand. So the formal Model Registry is now moving forward going to be referred to as the Hub. We decided as a product that this has become more than just a registry with the inclusion of the model catalog and MCP catalog. So Hub is more all-encompassing of these new features. And speaking of, the MCP catalog is now integrated into the Hub. You can search, browse, and deploy MCP servers. We also have tool listing and management of MCP servers available with a details view, sidebar navigation, and search and filtering in a very similar way to the model catalog. So the model catalog enhancements now include performance benchmarking and hardware comparisons, including Pareto filtering, latency sorting, and more. You can also pull models as a model catalog admin directly from Hugging Face into your users' catalogs. And we have advanced search and filtering capabilities for all models. And then finally, OCI is now the standard for model storage.
Great. Perfect. Thanks so much, Addison. We move to the Spark operator. So yeah, I mean, the main highlights for the Spark operator 2.5.0 is mainly the introducing of feature gates. So this is for allowing the release of new capabilities without impacting production workloads, and users get to enable safely these sort of feature gates. The namespace label-based watching. So this is simplifying mainly the multi-tenant deployment, so that the Spark operator is able to like easy discover multiple namespaces. The partial restart. So this is for reducing mainly the disturbance that happens in your Spark application deployments. There are some improvement in the Spark Connect by adding some validation so that like the workload gets submitted, it pre-validated, and this mainly reducing the failed submission and so on. Structured logging has also been introduced. which makes the troubleshooting and the observability much easier for Spark workload. The Spark 4.0.1 support is added, so this makes it like easier also later on to adopt later newer versions for Spark 4 in general, Spark 4.1, Spark 4.2. The Spark community have also a bi-weekly meeting. You can join as well the Slack CNCF Spark Kubeflow Spark on Kubernetes Slack channel, and the link for the meeting so that you can reach us to and attend for getting more updates from the working group. Then the Kubeflow MCP. Not sure, maybe Andre would like to cover that, or should I go through it?
Do you want to make it quickly talk about it? Sorry.
Sorry, the Kubeflow MCP. I would like to mention some highlights about this project.
Oh yeah. So I guess next steps for us, we established a roadmap for the Kubeflow MCP. If you're interested, definitely take a look in the repo. I guess our goal is to initially support tools for to creating train jobs, and I know that we're also working for tools for optimization jobs, model registry calls, and Spark application clients. So we kind of like established the first prototype. I think it's already there in the repo, so you can take a look. I think we also kind of designed the architecture for MCP, how we can, like deploy this in a production environment, how we can configure this with different auth providers. I guess next steps for us is to have some sort of MVP product so people can install the MCP service and run it. And kind of the goal is to eventually create the AI toolkit library, which can, have skills, tools, and plugins, which people can, like use in their own custom agents, so they can deploy this in enterprise environments where they have all the agentic experience across Kubeflow tools. Yes, but I think the MVP release should be relatively soon, so definitely take a look in the repo, and we have the roadmap being merged there.
Great. And then the Kubeflow ML Experience Slack channel is also is a place to connect with the working groups. Thank you, Andre. Then Kale, would like to go through this one also, or?
Yeah, sure. I guess the Kale team created the first release. I think it's it's the 2.1 release. I think they recently announced it. And basically the idea is they migrated to the Kubeflow pipelines v2, which allows them to convert the notebooks to the pipeline execution. So right now it's, like previously Kale was only compatible with the first version of KFP. So this is definitely a good signal from them. I guess right now, like they're looking on the roadmap to support other CRDs and also, for example, train jobs, also support other part of Kubeflow within the notebooks environment. So again, I think they also have a blog post which you can probably share as part of this presentation. And I guess if you have any also questions, we have this ML Experience Slack channel to follow up on, and we have the bi-weekly meetings on Wednesday happening. So we have very some updates coming in the next couple of sprints for Kale project.
Great, thanks so much, Andre. Then I think that's the main highlights for the previous release 2603 and 2603.1. We would like to take the opportunity also to announce the Kubeflow virtual event that's happening 19th of August. The event for the link is in the slides in here, so really encourage everyone to join. If you would like to join the Kubeflow community, we are reachable in CNCF Slack. We have the calendar for all the working group meetings in LFX calendar. You can find this also in the Kubeflow website. and how to get started with Kubeflow is also available. So that's all for the release. Maybe Andre would like we haven't went through the Trainer 2.2. We went through so quickly. Would you like to have some updates for 2.2 as well? Trainer 2.2?
Yes, I think we can do it. Yeah, I think this is like one of the major releases for us. I think we definitely have a lot of really exciting features coming in. So we kind of like make Trainer fully compatible with Training Operator, because right now we support XGBoost and JAX runtimes. So similar to the V1 version where we have XGBoost jobs and JAX jobs, right now you can easily run this within Train jobs. Also kind of converting Trainer to a more, HPC native environment. So right now we also support Flux, which can help us to orchestrate MPI jobs on Kubernetes. And specifically, it helps us to also run PMIX, which is kind of enhanced version of MPI, which was not possible before within first version of MPI operator. So if you're really, serious around running MPI on Kubernetes, definitely take a look at all those innovations happening on the trainer side. One of the also, I think, very interesting feature is the progress monitor, which we, I think, announced a couple of months ago. Basically, it allows users to transparently get the training clocks from their PyTorch script to the train job status, which means right now they have much more observability information across their distributed train jobs. So they no longer need to use any third-party services or any other systems to identify whether their jobs are running. So we will automatically call back this information from the training script. And I think we already have done some integration with Hugging Face community, and also we're doing some integration with Kubeflow SDK. So it just makes it much easier for users to run those frameworks within Trainer. I guess there are a couple of breaking changes we introduced because the API is still in alpha. So we're going towards beta, but we kind of renamed the pod template overrides with runtime patches. It basically gives us more fine-grained control over runtime configuration, how users can submit train jobs. And they remove kind of like several unused APIs like numproc per node from Torch API in Elastic Policy, which we plan to introduce on a later phase when we support job sets, next version of job sets. Do we want to talk about also roadmap or just an update here?
Yeah, sure. Yes. Please.
Yeah, I guess just definitely take a look we recently published the roadmap in the GitHub repo. I think we have a lot of exciting topics this year, specifically with workload aware scheduling, preemption, D-array. There are a couple of open caps ongoing in the progress right now. So we plan to release, I think, next version in July, where we introduce the VAS APIs and workload upon group APIs and other features, including multiple proposals within 2.3 release. Also, like the huge refactoring we do for optimization job. So our plan is to merge KDE projects to the trainer. So basically, when user install this operator, they should be able to get hyperparameter tuning jobs out of the box. So they no longer need to maintain a separate control plane to run HPO, which definitely gives them much more interesting experience. And I think we also working a lot on reinforcement learning recently. So we try to kind of provide more easier way to run RL algorithms on Kubernetes. There are a couple of interesting use cases we have with the users, and we're planning to give them maybe separate runtimes for RL, or maybe give them a way to separate rollouts from trainers. So there are a couple of things going on. So if interesting, we have a course on Wednesday. So please join us and get involved in this discussion for the distributed training on Kubernetes.
Great. Thanks so much, Andre, for updates. And I think that should be all for the release notes or the release updates for 2603 and 2603.1. Now we continue with the agenda for the meeting. Switch here. Perfect. Yeah. So the blog is still ongoing. There are some updates in here. Danisha will also finalize it together with the liaisons, and we hopefully release it maybe later this week. So for the working groups, maybe it'd be great if you can have a look, review. We'll use these slides as a reference as well for the blog. So if you would like to add more details, then feel free to update the blog and sync in with Danisha. Then for the 2610 release, Dominic is not available, but he'll be the release manager for 2610. There will be a retro for 2603. I'll sync with Dominic to have the retro maybe in one of the upcoming release meetings. So yeah, I think that's all. Any comments or questions? Okay, perfect. Yeah, then I would like to thank everyone that helped in making this release and for the sharing your time and efforts in making this happen for the Kubeflow community. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Perfect. Okay, I think that's all. So I'll stop the recording. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Tyler.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you. You too.